Jonathan Majors isn't taking the stand, but his 911 call played. And that's what's important. Sometimes they'll say something like, well, he can't just be over here playing the 911 call if he's not going to take the stand. And for some, I don't know, maybe he will take the stand tomorrow. But from my knowledge, he doesn't need to. They never tried to press him on any of that. And so 911 call played. In there, you can hear exactly what he said. He was actually instructed by the 911 operator not to leave or not to get off of the phone. So in the body worn camera footage, the mystery of who was he talking to when we saw him in the lobby and he was on the phone, it wasn't to his manager or anybody. He was still on the phone with the 911 operator. A lot of it played. Our good friend Danielle Atherton, Danny Does Law, was in the courtroom. And it's important to note that she's not pro white supremacy. She's against it, actually. Something interesting about her reporting is that she doesn't seem to like ignore or try to not focus on what the cops were doing there and how this arrest got manufactured and da 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 and da 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 da. Breathe, stretch, shake, let it go. Danielle doesn't let it go. Let it go. Not Danielle. While other reporters who report are frozen, she's the one who's chosen to take on this burden of the officers hurting Jonathan Majors' career and the money he could be earning. Officer Amnesia did recall helping Stephanie. I can't say Stephanie anymore. Somebody wrote a comment. She said her name is Stephanie. She told me that I'm making it the new Karen, and she objected. And I just have to honor that. There's going to be a humanitarian pause, 4 days on the S word. I'll continue doing what I used to do before they started releasing her name, and I'll just say her. I appreciate the influence that Stephanie, the one who commented, believes that I have on the world. So, not gonna call her the J word. She can get her last name read. If she wins this case, she gets the Jabbari. But, anyways, Officer Amnesia did recall helping her write the domestic incident report. That's fishy. Helped her with the writing it. He wrote the first page and a half, and she wrote the rest, and recalled accompanying her to Bellevue. She wrote the rest with her right hand, right? The one that's okay to sign. It hurts sometimes, but then there's adrenaline rushes that prevent it from hurting. This isn't even about her. Let's get back to the cops. Notably, he no longer worked for the New York Police Department. Wow, how about that? And is now working for the Suffolk Country PD, Long Island, for the past 3 months. That's pretty recent. What is it that made him change his positions? Let's give that all the attention and focus that it deserves. So, zero accountability to be had. Hence why he can't recall anything. Told you she was anti-white supremacy. Do you guys pretend the police are not corrupt? Disclaimer, of course there are fine police. I don't want them to ever think that they're going unnoticed. There's some good cops. Usually the ones who work 10 a.m., not the ones who are working at 10 p.m. But there's some good cops who exist that are out there doing, protecting, and serving as advertised. Officer Hansen, what was his name? Yeah, Officer Hansen, I think was his name, the sergeant. I don't think he's one of those guys. Witness number 9, Officer Lucario, aka Officer Amnesia, largely unremarkable in his testimony on both direct and cross, didn't recall much of anything, and even his body cam footage being played back, he played dumb. Fun times had for all. Witness number 10, Sergeant Brian Hansen, aka the choker, the one who made the motion, who got everything going, and it's the reason why we're covering this 8 months later. This guy, this sergeant, did he get transferred somewhere else? He should have been transferred. More of the same kind of generic and repetitive testimony, even with body cam footage. His camera was notably positioned strangely enough that not much could be seen below the neck level. Damn. It's a big report. 22-year New York Police Department vet, only approximately 2 years as a sergeant, spent a month in the academy training for this promotion. Very notable. Thank you. Thank you, Priya Chaudhry, for asking that question and for exposing the system, which is what Jonathan's up against. Not a woman who lies on him. A district attorney who is in cooperation with police who clearly falsify, even with body camera footage. These police are flawed people. Let me bring it to me for a second. Why are they flawed, everybody? What is it in their life that makes them think of people like Jonathan as not human and not worthy or or rather the abusers immediately when they step on the scene. They already had the conclusion and they just wanted to piece everything together in their life. Even if they live in a multicultural city of New York, and some of them don't even live there, they're not seeing in media depictions of Jonathan Majors looking people. Positive ones, or not enough of them, or enough of them where, yeah, they're out there, but if you're some parenting can be done to shield them from seeing that movie and that movie. You know what they couldn't see though? The Black Panther movie. You couldn't not see that movie. It was part of Marvel. There's 18 of them. Got to go to the movie theater to see the 18th one and watch Black Panther #1. And who was that? A superhero named T'Challa. I'm gonna obviously do what I'm doing right now and just kind of refocus things on our media. I always say they should recast T'Challa. This is an important superhero, and just like all the momentum that Batman, Spider-Man, and Hulk and all the guys had, this superhero here, his shouldn't end. He should continue going. An actor died, but don't act like this actor ever wanted this superhero not to be played. In fact, that's the reason he played the character while he was alive, to raise and make more important the stock of the superhero, so that officers in the future, who are little boys right now, will be able to view a melanated human being with that means dark skin, everybody. Some dark skinned people as human. They want to be, oh, there's a guy, but I'm not threatened by him. I remember I dressed up as Halloween as that character who looked like him. There was a way, there was the greatest, most highestly profitable film of a solo superhero. It still is, actually, because I don't include Spider-Man with the 3 Spider-Mans, but this guy was a top 10 all time highest grossing film with this one character, and he should not be off of our screens. Fatal J just did an important video about this. That's another YouTuber. He directed you to another YouTuber's petition, change.org/recast T'Challa. I'll put that in there that the YouTuber Eman's Reviews has up. Sign that. If there's a call to action, if there's still a call to make it so that police officers who are patrolling our streets everywhere in America, Canada too, and everywhere that movies are played, allow the future generation of them to have a superhero who's on par with Spider-Man, Wonder Woman, the rest of them. Pulling that character off of the screen, even though the mantle of Black Panther is on another character, isn't the same as having a continual relationship with one guy that doesn't end. Back to this cop though. He is the ultimate decision maker on arrests. Claims he checked around for pills and other evidence of attempted suicide and didn't do any evidence collection. Saw blood on the blanket, but did not look elsewhere around the apartment for blood. And I kept reading reports of the comforter, which the comforter is just another word for blanket, like the top blanket that's fluffy. So the officer is lying about seeing blood on the blanket, but he did not look anywhere else around the apartment for blood. That's like a lie because no cameras ever showed that, but he can claim he saw it. Sure. Testified that look, when they do the case against him, what's his name? Sergeant Brian Hansen. And T-Pain, where's he from, Hansen?
Somewhere in Wisconsin.
When they do the court case against him, that's common, where they focus on the police and their lies, and then they get the interview with the one who cleaned that apartment. Was there any blood in that apartment on any of the blankets or the comforters or the bed or the pillow or the when that comes out? Watch. It's this is a long-term fight. Don't just think about this trial the DA has against him, about these assault charges that happened in a car that the driver yesterday, Naveed Sarwar, said, no, he didn't do anything. She was doing all of it. Some quote like that. It was translated from the interpreter, who they didn't have the interpreter in the room on Friday, remember? They wanted to leave you guys on a whole entire week with headlines that said, and this was another comment somebody left on my video, kept with the name, said that she testified under oath that Jonathan had never been physically aggressive with her before March 25. So it's not possible that he hit her head in September of 2022. And when those articles were posting and showing us about there's text that appeared to make Jonathan admit to it, the headlines don't ever have the context that these texts were about something that went in 2022. These texts also don't have the headlines and don't have the context that earlier she did make the testimony. But as long as you say appears to, it's the new alleged. Appears is the new alleged. You say that, you're covered. You will not be defamation lawsuit isn't coming your way as publications. It's That's a lot. Now those texts do make him look bad for him saying he said he was a monster according to these text messages that were written there, and that he was gonna be suicidal. I'm worried for his personal health. I'm also hoping, even though it's a bad situation, but I'm hoping that was just him trying to say like, "Oh man, I'm gonna kill myself. No, 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 I'm coming right over. I'll drop what I'm doing. I'm gonna come right over, and then we can." And maybe he was using it there. Still manipulative. Still sounds bad. But I hope that he's not actually, or he wasn't at the time, a guy who needed intervention. I'm hoping that all the time he had was his therapist that he says he has. I'm hoping that it's beneficial, and he's not there anymore. I do believe he's a great man, and I am for him, and he doesn't need a Michelle Obama. He's Michelle. He's got his Megan Good. He's got Megan Good on his hand every single time. He goes to the washroom. And she's or the restroom. Washroom is like a thing we say, but she goes to the restroom with him. Like he can't go anywhere without her over here. She's just super supportive, and that's cool. And all the jokes about whether or not this is a false relationship or is it for play. If it is for play, I respect her even more. If she's like, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to hurt Jonathan. Listen, I'm single right now, just fresh off my marriage. I'm going to go become this a sister, whatever the term would be. That's fine too. Even if it's real love, then it's real love. My day is not affected by that. Sergeant Brian Hansen, aka the Choker, saw blood on the blanket, did not look elsewhere around the apartment for blood. Testified Jonathan first he didn't look elsewhere, eh? There was 6 cops. It's not like you didn't have time or anything like that. Testified that Jonathan showed him his phone and all the text messages. Really, is that so? So you had ample evidence not to do this arrest, huh? It was a 911 call. They said it was over an attempted suicide. He shows you these text messages. No, I can confirm. Look, it was actually that. See, she was mentioning me this, and she said she'd take herself, and that's why I called you guys. So don't look suspicious on me or anything. Crazy. Indicated that, by the way, when he's saying if you report this back in September, when Jonathan's saying if you report this, they're gonna do an investigation. It's gonna go sour. Things will go left. They won't believe anything. It's gonna be a bet. This is what he's talking about, and the way that the media have been reporting on him also indicated to the officer Swain that he grabbed his indicated to Officer Swaney that he grabbed his own neck to get him to ask her more questions. He indicated to Officer Swain that he grabbed his own neck. What the fuck? Huh? I'm just reading this over again. I just don't get it. He was trying to say this is a sign. This isn't strangulation. This is a sign. This is the ask more questions sign. Is that what he means? Someone in the comment section correct me. What do you think this means? Danielle, if you're watching this, please, what do you think? Because you did a little typo where you said us. Tell me what this means. Testified that she told him that she was struck in the head several times and that the defendant grabbed her throat. And yeah, I see that smirk right there because there's audio on this camera, right? I know that you may not be focusing it up top and you got it facing lower, but there's sound that we could also hear this stuff. So to say that, incredible lie on the stand, we're coming. The police department are going to be taken down right after this. She was struck in the head. Struck in the head doesn't mean I banged my head. Struck means that there was an opposing force coming at me. It was mobile. All right. Several times. Several times. Was this man not paying attention? He must have been getting his information from all the media who were falsely reporting the ongoings of this case. He wasn't watching Chillmonger. And he thinks that, oh yeah, I can say this. No. What the jury heard from the first, 7, 8, 9 days accompanied her to the hospital, and the body cam footage throughout his time with her. It evidently shows her using her right hand to not only text in regular intervals, but dig in her purse and adjust her clothing. That's what the body cam showed, huh? About the 911 call that was played, unfortunately, audio was pretty low and muffled, but you can definitely make out that Jonathan's distressed and worried. Danielle says it was difficult for her to hear anything where she sat because there's a lot of noise outside, and they had the windows open in the courtroom. It is December, and you did not need a cool breeze in that courtroom, okay? Strategic. What's next, Danny? Witness number 11, Ben Totti. I guess that's a photo of him down here. Maybe it's not. Largely unremarkable, like his British counterparts with the over-explaining yeses and the no answers. He's been living in New York 8 years, has seen her manager for that long, and personal friend for half that long. He sat with her during the 3-hour stay at the psychiatric ward. Wow. Toddy testified that he went back to the apartment with her after contacting Jonathan's manager, Priya S. Reminder that Priya S is not his defense attorney, Priya Chaudhry. It just happens that the manager has the same name. So salute to him for helping her pack, being a friend. Just like I got to give it up to Chloe and give it up to, was it Max and Sham and all everyone that was encountering them. They did what they were, well, not the cops, but they did what they were supposed to do when they see trouble. He too tried to persuade her to go to a hotel and to speak to her sister, but she refused to go and wanted to sleep. She was tired. She's been up all night, texting and whatnot, even 13 minutes before Jonathan gets inside. She said that she could hear him tripping over the suitcase or something, which, if that text happens right when he's entering, I'm questioning just how passed out you were. On cross, he admitted that he did not know if she ever left the apartment as he suggested. Oh. Defense rested after asking him 3 questions, one other in which he admitted to having his flight paid by the DA. They are long term finalizing a lawsuit against this DA. They will charge the DA, they will defeat the DA, and it's things like this about how taxpayer money is being used for a bogus charge that should have never even been laid, and once seen the evidence, should have been dismissed early. The DA, the judge, everybody is going under. See how it's got nothing to do with her? You see how this is a system issue? Yeah. Witness number 12, Josie Torrielli. Graduated from Columbia University in '06, master's in social work, licensed clinical social worker, has a specialization in interpersonal trauma. Okay, she's qualified. Let's go. Whoa. Is being paid $200 an hour by the DA. Thank you for getting that answer out of that. Whoa, is it Chowdhury? Who was it? Zuckerman? Appreciate that. Lackluster. Felt like we were in a psychology 101 lecture. No, that was important information right up there. Jury was bored, even one fell asleep. So, however, on Cross got snarky, and Zuckerberg shook things up and woke us up as an added bonus, but getting her to concede the following. Okay. She's only testified in 3 defense cases, only one being criminal, where she did not testify. She's never worked with someone traumatized by false allegations. She supposedly just learned about Jonathan Majors last night, despite being contacted months ago by the DA. Note, jury 4-person likes the Z-Man. Seems to think he's funny. Cool. There's no way to look at someone and tell if they've experienced trauma. She's never worked with someone who's faked trauma, denied being biased, but claims she has a different worldview about DV due to her profession. Not every disagreement or argument is intimate partner violence. The court adjourned because it was like 4:30 to be continued. That was the day. Thank you, Danielle. Big L for the police officers today. Jonathan Majors is about to win this case. I think there's a couple more days until we get our final verdict. There shouldn't be much to say, honestly. That's that. Let's wrap it up with a call to action. Recast T'Challa. Go to the petition. The link is there where you should all be reaching that next goal on the petition. It's up right here. Sign it. Please and thank you. I've been Chillmonger. More videos coming. A Jonathan Majors movie review coming. We're going to cover Creed number 3, so look out for that as soon as this trial stuff is over. And more entertainment news.